أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين اللهم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب زدني علما رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير ثم أما بعد والحمد لله. Respected and beloved brothers and sisters, welcome to another one of our lessons of Islamic studies brought to you from here in Darul Ummah Jami' Masjid in Shadwell, East London. Alhamdulillah. Last week we had a small break. I wasn't here, and inshallah this week we shall carry on bi'idhnillah. This class is one in which we are covering our basics of our religion, and from time to time we are also discussing important and relevant timely topics as we have done previously. We have finished the first two pillars of Islam. First two pillars of Islam are Shahada and Salah. And the last segment of Salah was Salatul Janazah. And Salatul Janazah, then we've done a practical lesson on how to attend and visit someone who is muhtadar, who is experiencing the last. And then also how to help the deceased after they've passed away, how to wash the deceased person's body, how to shroud them, how to do kafan of them, how to do janazah of them, and how to do dafan of them, to bury them as well. This was all done in theory as well as in practicality, which was all available inshallah. If you are watching on YouTube, then you can go up the videos, which is on the live stream section. You will find that these lessons are all available, recorded, live streamed, and this lesson also today is live streamed. Our last lesson before last week, 2 weeks ago, was the opening of a new chapter, which we've done before, but for this series is the new chapter, which is Zakat. Because Shahada, Salah, Saum is next, right? But we're skipping Saum because Saum is in less than 2 months. So inshallah we'll do that Saum closer to time, so it's fresh in your mind. We're going to Zakat, because Zakat is very, very, very important. It's one of the 5 pillars of Islam. And it's even more important because a huge percentage, and I'm confident to say most people don't know how Zakat works. Most people. Even practicing Muslims. In fact, most people who even give zakat, and I'm talking about our culture, I'm not talking about other cultures, like Bangladesh, Pakistan, community, India. A lot of people who give zakat are giving it wrong. They don't know how to calculate it. They don't know what to give zakat upon. They don't know how to calculate the year, how to calculate the amount, who to give it to, who to take it from, who should give it on behalf of who. There's so much confusion. So what does that mean? We have one pillar of Islam which we all understand, accept and submit to the fact that it's obligatory, one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Bunya al-Islamu ala khams. Islam is built upon 5 pillars, and one of them is zakat. We think we're giving zakat, but we are most of the time, every single person, to revise and to learn what zakat is and how to give it. Because zakat is applicable on your personal property. Man and woman, yes. And according to other schools of law, not just man and woman, even children. Even children, zakat is applicable on their property. But according to the Hanafi school of law, there is no zakat on children's wealth, but there is zakat on adults' wealth. But there's also zakat on the jewelry that women wear. In other madhabs, there is no zakat on jewelry that women wear. But I'm not going to confuse you too much. What I'm trying to show to you is that zakat is a fundamental, is a pillar of the religion, literally a pillar of the religion. So it's very important that we understand how this works. I want you to go back to the previous lesson and see the overview that we've done. We've done a summary, a short summary. We'll think, well, hold on. If I tell you that what is the first thing that we need to know when it comes to giving zakat? If I want to give zakat, what's the first thing I need to know? Let me ask you a question now. Even some of you are attending from last lesson. If someone wants to give zakat, what's the first thing they need to know? Can someone tell me? If I want to give my zakat today, or whenever, this year, what is the first thing I need to know? Anybody? Nobody. The first, yes, Nabil. The date what?
What I'm starting.
Yes. Yes, so you remember from last lesson. Good. Because you attended and you listened. The first thing we need to know in order to give zakat is, when did I become zakat eligible? What date? When? Which age? What date did I become zakat eligible? If you don't know this date, you will not know when your year started, when your year ended. Some people think zakat year ends in Ramadan because everyone gives. No. Zakat year ends at the end of your year when you became zakat eligible. For you in the UK, your tax year ends when? In April, right? April, correct? In Islamic, zakat, which is also a tax, which is a haqq of Allah, is the right of Allah, and is also a right of the servants. Servants who are in need of it. Servants of Allah who are in need of that zakat. Which is, as Sayyiduna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told to Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiyallahu anhu arda, when he was sending him to govern Yemen. When he sent him as a governor to Yemen, he said that the zakat is taken from the rich to be given to the poor. And inshallah we'll come to this later on. Nowadays you have a big epidemic where zakat is being, it happens. Zakat is being taken from the rich and given to the rich. For rich projects, handsome and fancy projects. To what extent is it allowed or disallowed is a mas'ala of bahath and to research. Especially in the context of what's happening in the world right now in Sudan, in Yemen, in Palestine, okay, in India, in various parts of Africa. Are we in that luxurious situation as an ummah that our zakat should be diverted for projects when people are dying of starvation? And it's a big mas'ala we'll come to inshallah, because there is a difference of opinion on it. But to what extent should we follow this difference of opinion? Because originally Allah has specified to us who should be receiving the zakat, isn't it? In Surah Tawbah, Allah says, إِنَّمَا الصَّدَقَاتُ لِلْفُقَرَاءِ. For the faqir is the first. إِنَّمَا الصَّدَقَاتُ لِلْفُقَرَاءِ وَالْمَسَاكِينَ. Faqir and poor. إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب والغارمين وفي سبيل الله وابن السبيل فريضة من الله. Indeed, sadaqah, i.e. zakat, is only for these people. And then Allah is saying فريضة من Allah, specified by Allah. So now you want to move away from the specification and change the direction and go to, you want to broaden the spectrum of zakat, then we need to have a very solid argument. Does that make sense? So this is a bahth inshallah and a mas'ala we'll come to later on. But the point being is, brothers and sisters, I cannot stress it enough. Most people don't even know how zakat works. Because if I say to someone, brother, how do you give zakat? He says, oh, I give zakat because my wife has shat borishuna, so I give zakat on that. While he, mashallah, tabarak, has got 15,000 pounds in his account, he's got business, he's selling and buying goods, he has lots of property, he has lots of this. No, zakat, because I've heard, Maulana Sahib told me, shat borishuna rafiqa laysa. Right? If I only give my zakat on my wife's gold, then it's fine. This misunderstanding. Who taught you this? Is wrong. Zakat is applicable upon every single Muslim. Every single Muslim who is aqil, who is baligh, who is of the age of puberty according to Hanafi school of law, and owns the nisab amount. What's nisab amount? 350 pounds we said last time for this year. 350 pounds. Now, for example, if your son, if your daughter, who is 13, 14, is the age of puberty, and one day you decide, here you go, Baba, I give you 350 pounds as a gift. Now they become owner of it. Straight away that person is now zakat eligible, meaning their zakat year has started. They don't have to pay it yet. Sharia is watching, Allah is watching. That your zakat year has now started because you became owner of the nisab. Then you observe for a year, and at the end of that year, meaning when, for example, 15th of Muharram comes, again 14th of Muharram comes, now your zakat date. The most important thing for you to pay your zakat is to now recall and backdate, when did I become owner of zakat nisab amount? All of you who's watching, who knows, who doesn't know but is being told this. If you think someone else doesn't know, you must convey to them, because amr bil ma'ruf and nahi al munkar, commanding good and forbidding evil in your capacity is an obligation upon you as a Muslim. Most people don't know this and they don't care, they're lazy. If you love someone and they're missing salah, we do not tell them, go and pray your salah. You tell them, your daughter, your son, your wife, your children, your husband. Same thing for zakat. If they're getting zakat wrong, you must inform them, because it's a pillar of Islam. Does that make sense? So please watch these lessons carefully and share them with those who do not know, and urge them to watch from the beginning. You will be questioned by Allah. Wallahi, you will be punished by Allah if you don't give zakat properly, because Allah's Quran is saying it. Okay? يوم يحمى عليها في نار جهنم فتكوى بها جباههم وجنوبهم وظهورهم هذا ما كنزتم لأنفسكم فذوقوا ما كنتم تكنزون. Those same wealth that you are hoarding and not giving in zakat, Allah will torture you with them. May Allah protect us in the punishments of Jahannam. May Allah protect us all. So be careful. Learn your zakat masail properly and pay them on time. And if you haven't paid them, backdate them. Go back. You became zakat eligible at 14, at 13, at 15. Most kids in this country, you becoming zakat eligible because, mashallah, everyone giving each other gifts, money and so on. So backdate. You haven't given last year's zakat, pay it quickly. Previous year, pay it quickly. Calculate it. Make an educated calculation and pay your zakat. Backdate it. It's haqq of Allah. How will those who are suffering around the world, how will you answer to their needs if you haven't even given a zakat? Everyone says free Palestine and free this, but they don't even give their zakat. So we haven't done your fard, then you're doing their optional stuff. Give your zakat, give your sadaqah first, make dua, etc. Follow the protocol. Tayyib. Without too much of a tangent, I will now I'll read from the text. This text, I've said it to you probably hundreds of times now, is a good text. Very good text. I like it and I recommend it and I teach it. It's called Ascent to Felicity. Felicity means happiness. Ascent means going up, meaning you're rising to happiness. Rising to which happiness? The happiness of Jannah. Maraqi as-sa'adat. Meaning if you learn the 5 pillars of Islam taught in this book, then inshallah through that Allah will raise you in happiness and joy and success in this dunya and akhirah. Fi ilmay scholars and home names of the Hanafi school of law, the author of Nurul Idah, as well as this Maraqi as-sa'adat, Al-Imam Shurumbulali. It's based on the Hanafi school of law, but we do sometimes explain further points when we need to. Best thing about this text is the footnotes. The translator made some footnotes, very good. £10, you must have it. Okay, so let's read now, and if there's need to explanation, we'll make explanation. Alms giving zakat. Zakat is defined. So what's zakat? Zakat has got 2 meanings. One, linguistic. This is a common aspect of any chapter in Islamic law. When you come across a word, for example, masjid. What does masjid mean? Masjid has got a linguistic meaning and has got a sharia meaning. Linguistically, you give sajda. It's makan. Anyway you give sajda, is linguistically speaking a masjid. You give sajda outside, it's called a masjid as well. But in sharia, masjid is the place that's built for the specific ibadah of Allah Azza wa Jalla, which is specified as a waqf and so on and so forth. The 5 daily salawat are established, adhan is called, iqamat and so on. You can give a ta'rif of it like that. Zakat, in the language, it means to purify. It means cleansing. Meaning when you give zakat, even from the language perspective, it purifies your heart from greed, from stinginess, from miserliness, from being attached to this world too much because you're having to let go of some. It also cleanses your wealth from any impurities. There's a small percentage of imperfection in all of our actions in life. Maybe you wrongly acquired a particular amount of wealth, a 0.something%, a 1%. This zakat will cleanse it of the defects of your own earnings as well. So zakat means to cleanse and purify as well as our property. In Sharia, in Islamic legal terms, zakat is defined as the transfer of ownership of a portion of wealth specified by the lawgiver to a particular person with its intention. Let's read that again. Zakat is defined as, number 1, transfer of ownership. Transfer of ownership. If you don't make zakat and make them the owner, then it's no zakat. Someone says, can I give with my zakat can I make them a house? No, you can't. You have to seek their permission. Because if you don't make them the owner of the wealth, then you haven't given zakat. You've given sadaqah, that's fine. There's a difference between zakat and sadaqah. Sadaqah is optional. But for zakat to be complete, it's called tamlik. You don't make them malik, you don't make him owner of the property of the zakat amount, then the zakat is not complete. So step 1, transfer ownership. You don't get to decide anymore what they do with that money. They get to decide. If they say, okay, fine, make me the house for me, khalas. If you give the zakat to a madrasa, then who's the owner of the property? Who's the owner of the zakat? The child that receives it. The orphan that's receiving it. If the orphan then says, Ya Ustad, khalas, I give you the responsibility of spending it on my behalf for my education, for my food and for my clothing, then that's when it becomes jaiz. Otherwise, zakat means tamlik, making someone else owner of the amount, as the transfer of ownership, number one, of a portion, number two. What's the portion? 2.5%. Of a portion of wealth. Of what? Of food or of wealth? Of wealth. Transfer of ownership of an amount of wealth. Number three. Four, specified. Not just anything. Not just, I'm going to give any percent. Specified. It has to be 2.5%. If you want to give more, that's up to you. But it's specified, not up to you, 1%, 2%. Specified. By who? By me and you. By Imam, by Shaykh. By the lawgiver. Who's the lawgiver? Allah. Specified by the lawgiver, i.e. Allah, the Quran and the Sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ's instructions. That's number five, by the lawgiver. Who are you giving it to? To a particular person. You can't just give it to anybody. You can't just go to go somewhere on the bazaar and you see someone poor and say, here you go, this is to a particular person. You have to see if the person is suitable and eligible to be a recipient of zakat. You can't give zakat willy-nilly to anybody. It has to come from a specific person, from a specific amount, to a specific person. So number six is to a particular person. Number seven, with its intention. You can give £100,000, but if your intention of zakat isn't there, then it's not zakat. Why? إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ, actions are based on intentions. Your intention has to be, this is my zakat for this year. The other person doesn't have to know that it's zakat. But your intention, when you're giving it, you have to have the intention. So this is why this is called, this ta'rif. A ta'rif and a definition has to be jami' and mani'. It has to include the elements of the subject, while also mani', it has to protect. The definition has to describe to us what's happening, but also not allow for other things to come in. It's a had, jami' and mani'. So you'll find in just 2 lines, you found all this information. Look, zakat is defined as, what is it? Transfer of ownership, tamlik. Someone else becomes malik. You say it's not mine, it's yours. Of a portion, particular amount, 2.5%. Of wealth, not Rice Krispies, not other stuff. Of wealth, silver, cash, gold, cryptocurrency, trade goods, and etc. We'll come to all of that. Of wealth. Specified by the lawgiver to a particular person with this intention. You can say 6 to 7 elements have come out of this small introduction. So then, what is zakat? Zakat is what? Wajib nafal? It's fard. It's fard what? Ayn or kifaya? Fard ayn upon the person who is meeting the criterion and the description. It is fard upon every free Muslim who is legally responsible and who possesses the quantum, nisab, whether in monetary trade goods whose value is equivalent to the nisab of wealth over which a full lunar year has passed in excess of any debts and basic personal needs. It's done. If they've explained it to you in 4 or 5 lines, but it's, so that's why when you read a fiqh book, this is a fiqh book. When you look at a fiqh book, you have to look very carefully, because within 1 or 2 words, there's so much going on. It's not just words. Each word has got meaning, and it needs to be unpacked. So let's go back. It is fard. Fard means what? That this has become mandatory and obligatory with evidence from where? From the Quran and from the Sunnah. But not just evidence from Quran and Sunnah. This evidence is authentically narrated while also directly descriptive. Is qat'iyyu dilala and thubut. So the evidence is authentic but also is specific. Allah says, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ الزَّكَاةِ. Establish salah and give zakat. Is there any doubt what wa'atu zakah means? Can you get confused? Wa'atu zakah maybe means to go for a walk. No, wa'atu, give zakat. There's no doubt that it means give zakat. Furthermore, where do we get this from? From the Quran itself. So the evidence is solid in its authenticity while also direct in its instruction. So someone comes and says, well, I wasn't sure. It's in the Quran, direct, وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةِ. We didn't know what it meant. No, you did know what it meant, because Allah is saying clearly, وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةِ. يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ. It comes again and again in the Quran. So it's obligatory and fard upon every free Muslim. This is of course talking about when there was a time when there was slavery and etc. Free Muslim, that's everyone, okay, who is legally responsible. This word legally responsible means mukallaf. Mukallaf. 532, the footnote says, so the person who is legally responsible for zakat is an adult, meaning baligh. And adult, not as in English adult, as in Muslim adult. Baligh. Okay, according to Islam, you become adult by puberty. Okay, so that's why when it comes to zakat and etc., you follow this rule. But when it comes to marriage and etc., you must follow the law of the land as well. It's very important, because otherwise you cause problems. You get yourself into trouble. So that is, who is legally responsible? A person who is an adult and is sane, meaning is mentally aware. If someone is mentally unaware, they're majnoon, mentally unaware. Is it fard upon them? It's not, because they don't know. Okay? And that's why Allah says, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا ما آتاها رفع القلم عن ثلاث. From three categories of people. Okay? From the sabi, from the child until he becomes an adult. From the naim, from the sleeping person until they wake up. And from the unaware person until they become sane. So that's why who someone's mentally unaware and no one is there to support them and remind them, then they are not going to be sinful if they forgetfully not give their zakat. So legally responsible means someone who is adult and is sane as well. Otherwise is not legally responsible, according to the Hanafi school of law, when it comes to the element of adult. Because in other madhahib, they have to give zakat, even if it's a child's wealth, it has to be extracted from there. Okay, let's go back to the slide. It is obligatory, fard upon every Muslim who is legally responsible. Now you know what legally responsible means. Mukallaf means adult and sane. Adult, i.e. Islamic adult, age of puberty. And who quantum. What's quantum? Quantum is nisab. What's nisab? 350 pounds. Keep it simple like that. 350 pounds of what? Of a jacket? Of trousers? No, none of that. 350 pounds worth of cash, gold, silver, or any other currency. And nowadays there's a lot of types of currency. It's not just the GBP and the USD and the BDT and the EGP. Like these are all different types of, like for example the British pound, the Euro, dollar, and Bangladeshi taka. There's more currencies. There's cryptocurrencies. There's Ethereum. There's Bitcoin. There's Adana. There's Solano. There's this. There's that. If these are currencies, then you need to also include them as well. Okay? So whoever possesses the quantum, how do you know? Okay? And also, if you possess the amount in monetary wealth, cash, cash in any of the currencies out there. Gold is also currency, by the way. Silver is also a currency, by the way. So cash, gold, silver, in any types of cash. Some getting tired, yeah? We'll finish. Trade goods as well. Trade goods. So once a friend of mine, Allah bless him and guide us all, he was having an argument with me and saying there is no such thing as zakat on trade goods. I'm like, Yasha ya basha, what are you talking about? Go to any book of fiqh and you find trade goods. If you're buying something for the intention of selling it, then this is trade good. Okay? Doesn't matter anything. If someone is buying books with the intention of selling it, if someone is buying jackets with the intention of selling it, if you buy a jacket with the intention of wearing it, is it a trade good? No. If you buy a book with the intention of reading it, is it trade good? No. But if you buy any item, whether it be socks or a tissue or glasses or books or desks or anything, cars, if you buy with the intention of selling it, then it's a trade good. So you calculate the value of your monetary wealth, your cash, your gold, your silver, your currencies, and your trade goods. Trade goods may be something, phone cases, phones, glasses, I don't know. People are buying all sorts of stuff on TikTok nowadays, TikTok shop. Lucozade packs or packs of 18 packs. Tongue scrapers. People are selling online as well on TikTok. Yes, they sell this. Many things people are selling and buying. Sesame seed oil, and all this stuff come up with you. Whatever you buy for the intention of selling it is trade goods, as long as it was halal as well. Along with that, someone might say, "Oh, no, but what if it's also stocks? People are buying stocks. You're buying stocks in Apple. You're buying stocks in shares in stocks. This is all, what is it, trade good or not? Why did you buy that stock? To trade it at a higher price, to make money, correct or not? So therefore it's trade goods. You've never seen it, but it's there in your account. You own X amount of shares in Apple, or in Tesla, or in this, or in Amazon. As Amazon is on the, as well, yeah. It's on the, so whatever, wherever you buy shares, any amount of cash, gold, silver, cryptocurrency, trade goods that you own, this is all zakatable. You put it all together, pull it together, and you see, have I reached 350 pounds? Yes, sir, a long time ago. Well, that date is when you became zakat eligible. From then, your year started. Now you don't give zakat every day. You give zakat at the end of the year. So what have you done? You've seen, mashallah, 15-year-old young man has now become owner of all of this, 350 pounds or more. On that day, he says, today, mashallah, tabarakallah, is the 15th of Muharram. On the 14th of Muharram next year, he says, okay, my year's now come to an end. What do I need to do? I need to calculate all of my cash, gold, silver, my cryptocurrency, my trade goods, whatever I own online, offline. I need to calculate it all together. Before it was 350. I became zakat eligible with 350 now. Now it's 3,500. What do you do? Look, he says now here. In excess of any debts. Any debts? I owe someone money, 500 pounds. Cut it off. Don't include that. So 3,500 minus 500. Basic personal needs. I've got my bill due. My electricity bill, my gas bill, my phone bill, my net bill, my Wi-Fi. 200 pounds, for example. Because of the bill. Exactly. You count the bills, minus them. What are you left with? 2,800 pounds, sir. From this 2,800 pounds, you say 2,000 for the dummies like us. We say 2,800 divided by 100 times 2.5 on your calculator. If you don't have the percentage figure on your 2,800 divided by 100 is what? £2.80. £2.80, right? 2,800 divided by 100 is what? £2.80, right? Or is it 28 pounds? 28 pounds, right? I'm getting it wrong. Let's double check. 28, yeah, it makes sense. If it was 280, then it would be 2.8, yeah. But we'll double check anyway. 2,800 divided by 100 pounds, you give 70 pounds zakat. You need to give it now quickly, and you need to give it to the right people. Who are they? فقراء مساكين والعاملين عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم في الرقاب. Who are they? Inshallah, we'll come to that anyway. Who's a faqir? Is it any faqir? Or is it a specific faqir? Miskin. Any miskin. What does miskin mean? What's the difference between faqir and miskin? Why did Allah use two different words? We'll come to that as well, inshallah. But that's the point that we need to understand. Up to here, it has to be very clear. What we've covered so far, those 4 or 5 lines, we need to be very clear. Okay, tamam? You give the 70 pounds, whatever amount is of the 2.5% after that calculation, and you need to give it to the right people directly, or you need to give it to someone who is representing them, i.e. a charity, like Islamic Relief, like Ummah Welfare Trust, and X, Y, and Z. So that's it. We'll carry on next time. Are there any questions to this amount, to this extent?
You know, trading goods.
Yep.
Very broad topic, obviously.
Yeah.
So when you said the value, you bought something and then you have to pay zakat on the value of that. Not the selling. Is the selling price included?
It's the wholesale price on that day.
On that day.
Yes. So for example, on the 14th of Muharram, you're calculating. So what we'll do, for example, trade goods today, you know, today's Apple shares, you own 1,000 shares. What is this market rate of it today? For example, you are someone who sells watermelons. Okay, you're going to sell each one for 10 pounds, but the wholesale value is, say, for example, 6 pounds. You have 1,000 in your refrigerator. Today, right now, 14th of Muharram, each one is worth 6 pounds. Times 1,000, that's 6,000 pounds. So like that, any trade goods, its market value, wholesale value to that.
Even before selling it, basically.
It's basically how much you'd get had you sold it all today, right now.
Sure, yeah.
And the only way you'd sell it is wholesale in that sense. Go for it. Like, I'll try it, inshallah.
So, second-hand item. So you bought an item to wear, so there's no zakat on it, and then later on you decide I'm going to sell it.
Okay.
So how do you work it out?
So when you have decided now that, say for example, first you had no zakat, you never paid zakat on it for years, but when you decided that it's zakatable now, I mean, when you decide that you want to sell it, it's become a trade good.
Yeah.
It transferred. So now, let's give the example. Okay, you had a piece of clothing, right? You decided not to. You had, say, 10 or say 5 jackets. You own them, but now at the beginning of Muharram you decided I'm going to sell them all. Okay, so now when you sell them, okay, you are holding, say for example, 3 of them left still. Those 3, how much are you going to sell them for? £5 each. You can add them into your zakat amount. And the reason why I said 3 of them is because remember that you pay zakat on the amount that you possess at the end of the year. If your wealth went up and down in the middle, it doesn't matter. It's on the last day of the zakat year. You calculate on that day, and based on that day's calculation, you give zakat. Otherwise, you can't give zakat every day. It's not realistic. Sharia doesn't want that from you. Sharia wants you to give zakat once a year on the day that is due, based on the amounts that you possess and the debts that you subtract. بارك الله فيكم سبحانك اللهم اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك السلام عليكم ورحمه الله وبركاته